Jack Sebring will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Jack is in the 5th grade and is an SCA leader at Poquoson Elementary School. His favorite subject is science, and he really loves to participate in science experiments. He is thinking about becoming a train engineer. One of his favorite pastimes is building with Legos, and he once built a spy boat which used many Legos. He also has a high junior brown belt in karate.
Would you please all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
David Rose is a 5th grader, and he is also an SCA officer. His favorite subject is math, and he is thinking about becoming a lawyer someday. He likes to play baseball and usually plays second base. One of his favorite activities is to make games on the Scratch site. He is reading a poem titled Be a Winner, author unknown.
The winner is always part of the answer. The loser is always part of the problem. The winner always has a program. The loser always has an excuse. The winner says, "Let me do it for you." The loser says, "That's not my job." The winner sees an answer for every problem. The loser sees a problem for every answer. The winner sees a green near every sand trap. The loser sees 2 or 3 sand traps near every green. The winner says it may be difficult, but it's possible. The loser says it may be possible, but it's too difficult.
Thank you, Jack and David, for a job well done. We do appreciate y'all being here tonight. Moving right into the student presentation. From Poquoson Elementary School, we have Dory Holder, our librarian, and Courtney Spence, a talented and gifted program teacher, who are here with 3rd grade TAG students to speak about a recent collaborative unit in which they participated. Ms. Holder and Ms. Spence will present some of the lessons and specifics, as well as some additional collaborations happening in the school. The students we have with us tonight are Reed Booth, Carolyn Harper, Bailey Harris, Ronan Ranalone Mims, and Elizabeth Trant. And students, if y'all could remain in the council chambers with us after your presentation, we'd appreciate it. We'd like to come out and introduce ourselves to you and talk to you about your presentation. Thank you so much.
Hi, how are you? I'm Dory Holder, and this is Courtney Spence. And we're going to talk to you about a collaborative unit that we have been working on at the school together at the elementary school while our presentation comes up. I'll tell you a little bit. Our principal, Dr. Wood, shared with me that collaborative learning was a strategy that she saw was on the rise at the elementary school and wanted to see that continue. For collaborative learning, that might be that the library skills from the 21st century learner may mesh with reading curriculum, or maybe in the media center or technology standards might go with a math program that we're doing. So that's the kind of efforts that we're going to talk about tonight. I had the good fortune in the first quarter to be a part of several collaborative efforts at the school, and the one Courtney and I are going to share with you today merges skills for reading and also, again, the library standards. Courtney wanted to try out a new book talk technique, so it's kind of a book tasting. So that's what our students are doing now. They're trying out different books and finding out information about them, and then they'll tell us a little bit about those towards the end of the presentation. This technique was introduced to us by Kelly Randall, who's a 4th grade teacher new to Poquoson Elementary School. And I wanted to try out an inquiry-based learning strategy, which means students sort of come up with their own questions about what they want to know about the learning. So we might say, well, our topic will be literature genres. what questions do you have about it? So the kids sort of drive the train on what the learning is that they're, on the instruction that they're going to get. So this TAG third grade class is a perfect example of a collaboration that we've done. So I will let Courtney tell us a little bit about the actual unit.
So we started off, we wanted to know what the students already knew about genres. So we started off with a Plickers pretest. It was a nice way to integrate technology. I had never used Plickers before, so Mrs. Holder was a mastery in that. So the students came in, and on the screen, they would see a different question, and they would each have, and about genres, and they would each have their own Plickers card, which is like a QR code, if you've been at the grocery store and you see the QR code. They would turn it in different directions to say whether it's A, B, C, or D for their answer, and then they would hold it up. Ms. Holder would take her iPad, scan the room. It would get all their answers, so we would get immediate feedback. The kids didn't see if they had it right or wrong because it's a pretest, so we didn't want them to focus on that. But it gave us immediate feedback to see where they were and what they knew and what they still needed to learn.
What's neat about Plickers too, like Courtney said, you can get immediate feedback. It can actually show you kind of red or green, like, oh, you know, this group of students didn't get the answer, so you can give, you know, immediate redirection on the lesson with that. So that's a pretty neat technology. We also gave them a questionnaire after we talked about genres that said, you know, now that you've seen the questions of the pretest, what do you want to know? What do you think you need help with? And so they gave us a list of questions. And so the direct instruction went a little like this.
And interesting to correlate with that is that a lot of the kids already knew the things that they got wrong. A lot of them, those were the questions that they had. So it was interesting to see that. So we went through direct instruction, and we had different slides that had information on the different genres, and then pictures of books that were examples of those genres. These are some of the questions that the kids had that they wanted to know, such as a lot of them didn't know the difference between an autobiography, a biography. That still confused them. Poetry, they wanted to know, could it be fiction, nonfiction, both, one or the other? Informational, did that fall under nonfiction or not? And then can a book be under more than one genre? So this checklist, sorry.
I'm clicker happy, sorry.
These were actually the questions that the students came up with. So we had them posted on a big sheet of paper in the room. And when we went through the presentation, we allowed the kids to either raise their hand or come up and check off the questions that were answered. So at the end, it gave us immediate feedback as instructors, like we covered everything that they had questions about, or there was still something else that we need to research, find more information about, and then go back and explain to the kids.
So that's one of the benefits of inquiry-based learning, is that you sort of know where your troubles are going to be before you really delve into the lesson, so you can work on that for the planning, which we were able to do here.
As an assessment to see how they did after we answered all their questions, we didn't want to just assume that they knew everything. So we did a hands-on sort. The kids in pairs had nonfiction, fiction, sort with all the different genres, and then books that were examples. So they had 3 different things that they had to sort.
Here they are going to town on
Yeah, that's just them in my room working.
Then the fun part.
Yes. So the book tastings we split up into 2 separate days. One was for fiction, one was for nonfiction. The kids came down to the library. Mrs. Holder did a fantastic job. She had the tablecloths on, she had a chef hat, an apron, there was Italian music playing, and the kids had little menus, right, that they went around, and
Like this.
yes. And each of the tables were a different genre, and so they would spend time at the table, and that was their book tasting. So they would get to preview the books, look at the titles, look at the author, maybe read a page or 2, read the summary, and then decide what genre it was and why.
And they also were able to continue asking questions. So with each book, when they actually had the tangible book in their hands, if they had questions on, okay, I sort of understand why this is mystery, but why wouldn't it be fantasy? So they could continue asking questions that we could clear up for them. Okay. And then the last day, we had them sort of self-assess themselves to see how they did, what lingering questions they had. We had a little group chat about that. And then we had them identify identify the genres of one of the books that they picked out. So let's see how well they did. So imagine that we have our aprons on and our Italian music going. Buongiorno.
Hi, my name is Ronan. We have learned the difference between fiction and nonfiction. The first books we will tell you about are nonfiction, which have true facts. This book is about the Florida State Seminoles. It is an informational book because it contains real facts about the team, photographs, and a timeline.
I'm Bailey. My book is Hannah's Suitcase and is a biography. I know that because it's a true story about someone's life. This book is about Hannah Brady, written by Karen Levine. Many biographies have pictures, timelines, and tell the person's story from beginning to end. An autobiography also tells a person's life story, but is written by the person herself. Like in I Am Malala, Malala writes about her own life.
Hi, I'm Caroline, and the next books are fiction, which are made-up stories. Some could happen, but others, like fantasy, are completely impossible. This book is Spirit Animals Wildborn, and the genre is fantasy. There are animals that communicate and help the humans. There are mythical creatures in it, with traits such as glowing eyes. The animals are also warriors.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth. My book title is Nancy Drew and the Cuckoo and the Halloween Hoax, which is a mystery. The book cover gives me a hint about the genre because it has the word mystery. Also, the title has the word clue, and in mysteries, they look for clues. Last but not least, they solve the mystery in the end.
Hello, I'm reading This is Peak by Roland Smith. We came for an author visit about his books last week. We learned about his writing and his old job as a zookeeper. Peak is in the genre of realistic fiction, which means it has made-up characters, but the story could still happen. This story uses real things and places, but the action did not happen.
Great. I think they did a really good job, and they deserve a round of applause. This is just one example of some of the collaborative efforts that we have going on at the elementary school. I'll tell you about just a few other quick ones that we have either done or we have coming up. I'm not so sneaky with this clicker, am I? Okay, this one is a picture of a collaborative effort with third grade teachers and the technology department. And they are doing what's called a mystery hangout. And so this is a lesson where they really get to polish up their social interaction skills and digital literacy. So the class did a Google Hangout, which is a video chat with another class from someplace else in the country. And they had to figure out some clues and things about the other class. And in this particular one, each class drew a monster. And then, but they didn't let the class on the other side of the video chat see it. And they would give, each class would give the other one clues about what the monster looked like. And they had to kind of just use their own skills to figure out what it was. And so here's an example. Here's an example of, this was our monster that was drawn, you know, with the ice cream head and the Hershey bar body and the candy cane legs. And they talked the other class on Skype or on the video chat through, and that was what their drawing was that looked like, just based on their description. So they were able to really combine two, you know, technology and also some just really interesting skills. Some of the other collaborative efforts that we have coming up, or that we have been doing. We've been working on the Global Read Aloud, where the 5th grade classes are reading the book PAX, the 4th grade classes are reading the book The BFG, and the 3rd graders are doing an author study on Lauren Castillo. So we've read some of those books, and we've done some connecting, and we will do some more connecting with other schools where we've posted some things to practice their digital literacy. Another project that the technology team and I believe Math Express and TAG are working on are the robotics petting zoo. So they're going to be doing some coding to get these robots to sort of act like animals at a petting zoo. So that's a really neat collaboration that we have. And then also technology and the library will be working with the teachers on upcoming research projects after the winter break. So those are just a few of the ways that the school's working together. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Holder. Thank you, Ms. Spence, as well as Reed, Carolyn, Bailey, Ronan, and Elizabeth. Y'all obviously put a lot of effort into that. We enjoyed y'all being with us tonight. Dr. Parrish, do we have any additions and or modifications to the agenda?
We do not this evening.
Thank you very much. The next item is recognitions. Dr. Parrish, could you address the recognitions for us, please?
Yes, first we will be recognizing our WISE Gold Star teachers. So as Mr. Hux makes his way over near the podium, I'd like to ask our high school teachers, Michelle Henderson and Michael Smith, to come forward, please. We actually had 4 high school teachers who received this award. Unable to attend this evening are Marcus Nieves and Cindy Kilo. They received the 2014-15 Gold Star Award from WISE, Working in Supportive Education. To be considered for the Gold Star Award, a teacher must achieve a 93% pass rate in at least one of their classes on the WISE Financial Literacy Certification Test. All 4 of our economics and personal finance teachers achieved this impressive goal and are awarded the Gold Star Award. And actually, this was for the 15-16 school year. Please join me in congratulating our teachers for this honor. Next, I'd like to ask that Mrs. Taylor Bresnan come forward. I know in the audience supporting her this evening, I believe we have her husband, Sean. Taylor's being recognized as the Volunteer of the Month for November. She is currently the PTO president at PES and the volunteer coordinator and chair of After Prom at our high school. Taylor Bresnan is the Volunteer of the Month for Poquoson City Schools. She and her husband, Sean, have 3 daughters who are all attending school in Poquoson. The oldest, Veronica, is a junior at PHS, Jaden is a 5th grader at PES, and Zoe attends IPOP at PPS. Taylor began her PTO career 4 years ago as the volunteer coordinator of Helping Hands at the primary school. She volunteered at the middle school for the 3 years that she had a daughter there. At the high school, as I mentioned, she's currently the volunteer coordinator and the chair of After Prom, which she co-chaired last year. I'm going to deviate from the script. If any of you have ever worked with After Prom, it is a tremendous responsibility. So we know the level of work that she is doing for us, and we so appreciate it. When Taylor first began working with the PTO at PES, she was going to be the volunteer coordinator, but was asked to be the vice president, which she gladly accepted for 2 years, and is now the president of the PES PTO. She's a substitute teacher for our school division and has fostered cats through PAWS. Dr. Wood states, "It is a pleasure to work with Taylor as the president of the PES PTO. She is very positive and is always thinking of ways to involve the parents, staff, and community in supporting the students of Poquoson City Schools. Poquoson is very lucky that she has a daughter at the primary school because hopefully we will have her as a volunteer for many more years." And I know that Dr. Syak would echo these comments with the work that you do with After Prom in mind. So please join me in congratulating Taylor for being our Volunteer of the Month. Next, we're going to do a couple of Senior of the Month recognitions. First, I'd like to ask Gracie Harris to come forward. Gracie was the Senior of the Month for October, but was unable to join us, so we're recognizing her this evening. She is the editor-in-chief of the Island Echo student-produced newspaper at Poquoson High School. She is also a member of the National Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, Quill and Scroll Journalism Honor Society, Model UN, Academic Challenge Team, and German Honor Society. Gracie is a member of the varsity swim team and varsity track and field. She helps her community through her work at the Poquoson Animal Welfare Sanctuary. Gracie has also been awarded the William and Mary Leadership Award and won the Friends of the Poquoson Library Essay Contest. She is applying to NYU and Harvard and plans to major in biology. Please join me in congratulating Gracie. Next, Andrew Barden. If he would please come forward, a familiar face to us. Drew served as a student representative of the Poquoson City School Board during the 15-16 school year. He is captain of the high school varsity swimming and cross-country teams. He participates in numerous extracurricular activities to include FBLA, Governor STEM Academy, Model UN, Student to Student, Scholastic Bowl, and Anti-Bullying Committee. He is a member of German and Science Honor Societies and is also the treasurer of the National Honor Society. Drew was chosen to attend the American Legion's Boys State of Virginia, where he served as a lead chaplain. Drew plans to attend the Coast Guard Academy to major in environmental science with a concentration in environmental chemistry. Please join me in congratulating Drew for being the November Senior of the Month.
Look at coaches. She wants to keep look at this. No. Let's talk about my skills.
Huh? Oh, I started it for you. And you never.
For our presentations and support and reports, first up, we have our financial update, and Ms. Tara Woodruff, our Executive Director of Finance, will give her presentation.
Good evening, Vice Chairman Hucks, members of the school board, and Dr. Parrish. For the finance report this evening, I wanted to review the budget calendar for the upcoming fiscal year 2018 budget process. December 1st, we plan to begin meetings with the PCPS Benefits Committee to discuss division benefits as they relate to the budget. On December 16th, we anticipate release of the governor's budget proposal. However, we will not receive the Virginia Department of Education Calc tool at this time. The Calc tool is published by the VDOE and outlines the state funding for school divisions, but this is published after the release of the governor's budget, so we don't anticipate getting that and knowing what it means for PCPS until sometime in January. On January 11th, the General Assembly session begins, and on January 19th, a budget public forum with the school board will be held if needed. During January through March, the school board will receive budget updates and discussions will be held at work sessions. And then on February 21st or March 21st, the superintendent will present the proposed budget at the school board work session. However, this timing depends on the General Assembly. The superintendent meets with faculty and staff for input on the budget, and parents and community members are encouraged to provide input on the budget. This can be done by attending the public forum, through Let's Talk, or calling, visiting, or sending an email to the superintendent. We do anticipate another challenging budget process this year and appreciate your support and input. That concludes my report.
Do we have any questions tonight? Very well, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Woodruff.
Thanks.
Our next item is our operations update. Mr. Steve Pappas, our Executive Director of Operations, will provide that for us.
Good evening, Vice Chairman Hucks, School Board, Dr. Parrish. In operations in the area of transportation, the PCPS transportation staff is hard at work training a few new candidates to become substitute drivers. In order to be a bus driver, you have to first pass a DMV written test. You then need 24 hours of classroom training by one of our staff, trained staff, and then 14 hours behind the wheel in an empty bus. After that, you must take a DMV road test, pass that road test, and then you return for 10 hours of behind the wheel, again with an instructor, but with students in the bus. And then after that, after you communicate with me, we finalize the process and you can become a substitute bus driver. The transportation staff and the PHS staff have implemented some changes to the procedures that we use to expedite the morning ingress of both parent drop-off and students to the high school for morning arrival. These changes have helped expedite the queue in the morning for cars entering the high school. In the area of safety, we're making some additional enhancements to school safety. Those changes will be done in the next few weeks. These enhancements are additional cameras that are funded through our grant that we've received again this year. In the area of food service, as is our tradition, we invite parents at the primary and elementary school to join their students for a Thanksgiving meal, and those meals will be taking place this week. In the area of maintenance, we've been working with principals in those buildings that have to make the conversion from air conditioning to heat. And that concludes my operations report for this evening.
Do we have any questions or comments for Mr. Pappas? Very well. Thank you, Mr. Pappas. Our next item is the instructional update, which will be provided by Dr. Antonia Fox, our Assistant Superintendent.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice Chair Hucks, school board members, and Dr. Parrish. My instructional update this evening covers two activities that are currently taking place in the division: the Program of Studies Review and the DODEA PBL grant. Secondary Program of Studies Committee has met already once in October and are getting ready to meet for the second time next week. The Program of Studies suggests course and career pathways for our students. It outlines courses with their prerequisites, and it serves as a framework for planning and scheduling courses for the middle and the high school. The Program of Studies Committee is comprised of the middle and high school principals, middle and high school counseling directors, and other instructional staff. We hope that in December we will bring you our first draft of our new program of studies for the next school year. We hope to have your approval of that in January so that our students can begin registering in February. So that's why the process is so earlier in the year, so that students can be ready in February to register for their classes for next year. And just a quick update on where we are with the project-based learning grant. The program director recently met with the high school faculty to share information and timelines. We have scheduled our 2 PBL 101 training sessions for teachers this summer. Teachers got to choose between a June and an August session, and they will be compensated for their time. It is outside of the school year, but our grant did cover compensation for them for that. And we have also organized our 2-day planning summit with the Buck Institute, who are leaders in the PBL world. That is scheduled for December 14th and 15th, and that helps us outline our next 4 years of where we're moving with our instruction. The PBL project director has also established a focus group at the high school made up of teachers and staff, so it's in order to garner some feedback and get suggestions from them on the implementation and the training as we move forward. And professional development at Poquoson High School has been scheduled in January with a focus towards project-based learning. And that is all I have for you all this evening as well.
Are there any questions for Dr. Fox?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fox. Ms. Reimers, do we have any public comment?
No, sir, we do not.
Thank you, ma'am. For our consent agenda tonight, we have 6 items. Item A is the approval of financial reports. Item B is the approval to accept donations and gifts. Item C is approval of personnel action. Item D, approval of minutes of October's regular meeting and work session. Item E is approval of certification of closed meeting. And item F, authorization to dispose of surplus property. Can we please have a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you. Ms. Reimers, can you call for a vote, please?
Ms. Rollins? Aye. Mr. Holcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Hux?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Reimers. The next item on our agenda are other matters for consideration. Dr. Parrish?
Yes, the first item is consideration of approval of the first reading of changes of policy 2-2.3 with, which contains language about advertising, sales, solicitation. We actually talked about this policy change at your work session last month. You have attached to your reading file the policy with the changes. At that work session, board members asked for 2 more changes to the policy as we brought forward to you. So we work with our school board attorney to make sure the language would allow us to address those changes that you asked for. One was concern about endorsing any political campaigns in terms of advertising on our field or outdoor athletic facilities. And then another was a concern if we had somebody advertising and then perhaps that business or company ran into some trouble, would we be able to pull that sign, that advertising sign down, which a slight tweak was made by our attorney to ensure that we could do that. So I wanted you all to know that we did address those concerns in the policy that we're bringing forward to you. And this is really the case of making sure our policy is well aligned with our practice, because we do allow advertising at the, we have it on signs at the Poquoson Middle School field. So I'm recommending this evening that you approve the first reading and move forward the policy changes to second reading.
Thank you, Dr. Parrish. Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Reimers, could you call for a vote, please?
Ms. Rollins? Aye. Mr. Holcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Hux?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Dr. Parrish?
Yes, the next one is seeking approval for me to sign contracts for approved projects on the fiscal year 17 CIP. The CIP was, as you know, last year, the school board CIP was included in the city CIP, and the city determined that it could actually pay for 3 of our projects on the CIP moving into this year. One is the HVAC system update at the primary school, the HVAC system update at the high school, as well as resurfacing the track behind the high school so that it can be used for VHSL competitions. And also by doing that, that track we are confident will be used by community members as well, and we'll have a much better surface for that. So what I'm bringing forward to you is allowing us to begin that work. Last night at the city council meeting, the city council approved to shift that money into so it would be available to us and to allow the school board to move forward with the projects and access that money so that we didn't have to keep going back and forth with the city and trying to get that money from them. So what we just need now is approval from you to authorize me to sign the contracts for the work that will be done at the primary and the 2 projects at the high school. Your reading file does outline that we're following all purchasing laws and regulations both by the state and what we need to do as a school division. So we'll move through that appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parrish. Do we have any questions or comments? Very well. Do we have a motion for approval, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Reimers, could you call for a vote, please?
Ms. Rollins?
Aye.
Mr. Holcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Hux?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Reimers. Communications and/or other matters by the school board and/or the superintendent. Dr. Parrish?
Yes, I mentioned the city council approved the allowing us to begin work through by accessing the funding for the CIP, but they also approved the carryover funds that we provided back to the city, $27,000 coming back to us. So you will see that in your December meeting as you approve the reappropriation of those funds. But I just wanted to highlight both myself and Mr. Pappas were at the city council meeting, and I know we talk about this, but it is just such a pleasure to see how well they work with us and how easy something like this is, because people have been following the news and the not too far area from us, things aren't quite as pleasant right now for all of our city councils and school boards. So I just want to thank city council for the work that they continue to do with us. I want to encourage folks to participate in the budget process. Once we get the governor's budget on December 16th, we'll certainly know a lot more, but we continue to anticipate it to be another challenging budget year. So please reach out to us, whether it's to me or other staff members or school board members, if you've got thoughts as we go to prepare the budget in the coming months. And finally, I just wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving weekend. This year, we do have offices and schools closed on Wednesdays. The first year that we've done that, so we'll have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. And we're excited about that. We think this way will allow families some travel time on Wednesday to get to their destinations before Thanksgiving on Thursday. So if folks are trying to reach us, offices will be closed on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parrish. Brody?
Here is the school board update. Our primary school, Poquoson primary students experienced the election process firsthand on election day. Last week, Poquoson primary held a school-wide vote for their favorite book character. Students researched the 2 candidates, Pete the Cat and the pigeon from Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, character traits, made campaign posters, registered to vote, and cast their ballots on election day. Second grade students acted as poll workers on election day by checking voter IDs, monitoring the voting booths, and counting the ballots. Poquoson Primary's favorite book character by a landslide victory is Pigeon. Elementary school. PES celebrated Veterans Day with a breakfast for students and family members who have served or are currently serving in the military. After the breakfast, the PHS band accompanied all those attending by playing the Star-Spangled Banner. The entire 3rd grade sang a song thanking the veterans for all they have done. 5th graders read passages about the meaning of Veterans Day. Over 200 students and their family attended, and it was a very special time for all involved. On Wednesday, November 16th, the elementary school will celebrate Thanksgiving with a yummy meal of turkey, stuffing, and other Thanksgiving favorites. On Sunday, the Colorathon Walk-Run fundraiser will take place at 2. Registration opens at 1. The middle school. An honor roll ice cream social will be hosted by the PMS PTO on November 18th to honor 291 students and celebrate their academic achievements for first quarter. The Poquoson Middle School Winter Band Concert will be held on December 5th at 7. The Chorus Winter Concert will be held on December 15th at 7. Both of these concerts will be in the PMS auditorium. The next Poquoson Middle School dance is on December 9th from 6:30 to 9:30. This dance is sponsored by the PMS Library. Our Take a Stand, Lend a Hand bullying prevention program is currently focusing on diversity, tolerance, gratitude, and the power of words with all students. The high school. Poquoson High School continues to charge ahead with lots of exciting events happening both in and out of our classrooms. We continued our student exchange with the Czech Republic, experiencing a visit from Czech students and faculty members who shared their culture with our school community. Courtesy of a grant from the Poquoson Education Foundation, students in driver's education courses participated in the Arrive Alive distracted driving simulator to explore the dangers of texting while driving, as well as the dangers of driving under the influence. Additionally, a gracious grant from the Poquoson Education Foundation allowed 12th grade AP Literature students to attend a stellar production of King Lear at the Blackfriars Theater in Staunton, Virginia. In other learning experiences, our CTE students participated in the Transportation Careers Expo to expose students to STEM careers in the area of transportation, while psychology students used yoga as a tool in sensory perception lab. Expanding learning beyond the classroom, a PHS student applied his learning to a desk chair by taking it to new horizons and fashioning a welding repair, while our student athletes read to students at Poquoson Primary School in conjunction with Read Aloud to a Child Week. The Marching Islanders Band received a superior rating at the State Marching Assessment. A PHS actor, Emily Edwards, was named to the All-Star cast at the Conference 25 one-act competition. Numerous fall athletes were named to all conference and all region teams. Cross-country runners qualified for the state meet, and PHS field hockey qualified for the state tournament, a first in the history of the PHS field hockey program. In conjunction with our ongoing bullying awareness campaign, a cadre of students and faculty participated with students from across the peninsula in Diversity Dialogue Day at Hampton University, aimed at fostering inclusive communities in our schools. In the coming month, the PHS band and choral departments will perform their winter concerts. Winter sports will get underway, and our students and faculty will continue to engage in meaningful learning experiences. Be sure to check out our website for the latest accomplishments of our students and events within our school community.
Thanks, Bertie. It's a good job. Ms. Rollins? No comment. Thank you. Mr. Holcomb?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. No comment tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Mostower?
I'd like to thank all the students that participated in tonight's school board meeting, as well as congratulate all the winners, all the people that were recognized tonight, and I just want to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Ms. Mostower. Ms. Helsel?
No comment.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for being here with us tonight. We enjoyed having everybody. Thanks especially to the students, Ms. Holder and Ms. Spence. They obviously put a great deal of time and effort into that presentation, and we commend them for their efforts. Any other questions or comments from the board? Dr. Parrish, do we have any material for board review?
We did put at each of your seats the full budget calendar, so you have date by date what we're anticipating. So if you could please put those dates, especially the ones too that are tentative and could go either way depending on when I get my budget out on your calendars, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parrish. We're now adjourned. Thank you.